Bob's Breakfast.
Chris Hubbard's got your news.
There's a surge in facial hair transplants.
What?
People who can't grow facial hair as well as they'd like to are opting for these transplants. The procedure's performed under local anaesthetic.
Now, just wait, wait, because I'm now uncomfortable. The hair on your head is very different to the hair that grows in other regions. Okay?
Yes.
When people grow beards, the type of hair that grows in the beard hair is not the type of hair that grows from your head. Okay. So if you were to have a hair transplant, they have to get the hair from somewhere, and clearly the hair on your head would not be beard hair. Where are they taking it from? I'm scared to ask.
It's described as being taken from an area where hair is plentiful and then transplanted onto the face.
The only reason I can think you would have this done was if there was a relative that you didn't like kissing you. Revenge stories this morning. What's yours, Gary?
Well, I once had a revenge on my wife, who was constantly moaning at me for playing cricket.
Right.
I used to play cricket on a Saturday and a Sunday before we got married.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as soon as we got married, she wanted me to stop.
Right.
But I wasn't going to have any of that.
Okay.
And she constantly moaned, and one day that she got to me so bad on a Saturday, I walked out of my front door, and there was a load of Jehovah's Witnesses on the estate.
Yeah.
And I gathered 6 of them up and told them that my wife always fancied being a Jehovah's Witness. And I ushered them into the house, closed the door, ran for the car, and disappeared. And they were in the house for 2 hours. She wasn't happy. And while I was actually playing cricket, she came to the cricket ground steaming. I saw the blue car coming. It was like the Only Fools and Horses sketch. And I looked, and I was batting, and I went to the bowler. Don't get me out, please. Just don't get me out.
Okay, so it was a German unexploded bomb.
That's right.
Where was it?
This was in Potter's Bar on a road called Park Avenue.
So Martin, who's been flown in from Germany, especially for this programme, you're not the only thing that's been flown in from Germany, especially for this programme.
Apparently not.
Part of the news was flown in, especially from Germany for this programme. Potter's Bar, they've carried out now a controlled explosion.
That's right, yeah.
At what time?
7 o'clock this morning.
Well, I'm sure that made everybody's day in Potter's Bar.
Wakey, wakey, everyone.
Why 7 o'clock in the morning?
I don't know. I guess they just wanted to get it out of the way, didn't want to take any
risk.
risk.
It's been there for 75 years. Another couple of hours isn't going to make any odds.
Bob's Breakfast.
Stories of revenge this morning. You got one for me, Mark?
Yeah, I got one. I had a lad working for me because I do window cleaning.
You do window cleaning, yeah?
Yeah, so I don't know what he had done to me. It upset me somehow.
Right.
So we have what's called a bucket on a belt. So you've got a little contraption that contains water, and when you get up your ladders, you've got it so you can dip your applicator into it.
Yeah.
So I was up above the top of him, and I'd said to him that I was dying to go to the toilet a little while before. And when he was underneath me, I tipped the bucket on the belt up and poured it on top of his head. And I said to him, "Oh, that feels better." And he thought I'd gone for a wee.
No! Chris Hubbard has your latest news.
Things have got so bad with plastic bags in supermarkets now, after they brought that 5p a bag charge in, that one supermarket is now tagging its baskets because people are walking off with them.
Of course they are. Of course they are. It's like, how can you have a system where it's 5p for a plastic bag, but it's only £1 for a trolley? Push the trolley home.
I've not thought of that.
Well, the amount of people that must be pushing trolleys home. Oh, it's a ridiculous thing, this. And it's all to kill the planet. That's what the whole idea is. It is no secret that those plastic bags are harmful. You know, sea turtles can choke on them. That's just one of the things they do. The supermarket should give you a biodegradable bag, or at least the choice. There is no incentive. Now that the supermarkets, they only make 4p off the bag, by the way, because the government takes a penny in VAT. VAT at 20% comes out. The government gets a penny off every one of these plastic bags. So now that the supermarkets can make 4p per plastic bag, there is no incentive for them to come up with a biodegradable bag instead. So they're going to find the most toxic bag they can find to justify you having to pay the 5p because they're leveraging your guilt and telling you that it's you that's killing the sea turtles when in fact it's the supermarkets because they're not providing you with the bag. The problem is most of those supermarket plastic bags were recycled. That's what we used to line our bin with.
Yes.
Now, we have to go out. If Julie takes the hippie bag to the supermarket, the canvas thing, then she comes home and there's no plastic bags. We have to then buy more plastic bags to use for bin liners. So we're buying more plastic bags now, and still there's no degradable one in sight, and there won't be as long as there's money in it for the supermarkets and the politicians. Talking about stories of revenge. What's yours, Julie?
When I worked for another company, one of the girls there did not get on with the manager.
Right.
So when he went on holiday, she went into his office and had a wee on his chair.
No.
Which over the 2 weeks he was on holiday dried out, obviously, as it would. And when he came back into work and went into his office, he said, "What's the stain on my chair?" But he was sitting on the chair. He kept looking up at the ceiling thinking there'd been a leak. But it didn't stop him actually sitting on the chair. And everyone was walking around going, "We know what it is."
Yeah, we do. Yes, we know.
Dutch prosecutors say it could be some time before we find out who was responsible for bringing down flight MH17. Reports found it was hit by a missile last year launched from an area under the control of pro-Russian rebels.
So did the Russians shoot it down or not? I mean, they've done this big investigation. From what I can understand, the missile came from a Russian-controlled area, and it was a Russian-made missile. But they're stopping short of saying the Russians shot down the Malaysian airliner.
Yeah, they're holding back.
I think it's just a shame that we will not see a similar investigation into the Americans bombing that hospital.
Yes.
Because the Americans have admitted they've done that and it was a mistake. Actually, they did the right thing by coming out and admitting it early on and saying it was a mistake, which if it turns out that the Russians did this with the airliner, why didn't they admit it and say it was a mistake? Because mistakes happen.
And it's bizarre with the hospital case that nothing else has been said about that since, really. It's happened and it's kind of fallen out of the news
cycle. Yeah,
really,
no, it's gone. We're not going to hear much about that again. There's an interesting bit of trivia connected to that one, actually, the Americans bombing the hospital. It is the first time that a Nobel Peace Prize winner has bombed a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Because Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, won a Nobel Peace Prize, and Barack Obama won a Nobel Peace Prize. First time that's ever happened. Long shots this morning. What's your story, Phil?
Several months ago, I was out around the Gulf of the Panamime.
Yeah.
And he's hit probably his best drive he's hit all day, dead straight. And out of the bushes, this young lad on his other piece of companion come out and nicked the golf ball.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, nicked the golf ball and then to rub insult into it. They dropped their trousers and done like this perfect moon and all that malarkey.
Okay, yeah.
So I thought, I'm not very good at golf. So I thought, you know what, I've seen Happy Gilmore, I'm going to give it a go. Went for it, ran up, teed it up, smacked it, went left like a boomerang, and let's say when the ball came back and hit him, I didn't want that ball back.
Where did it hit him?
It hit him straight where he was bent over, and it was the most perfect long shot. Man, I didn't kick that ball when I walked past him, and just laying there holding his bits and pieces.
You actually, so he's still got his trousers down, he's still bent over?
He's still bent over, giving it all the big and what have you, and I pushed this ball out left, and it come flying around, and it clipped somewhere underneath him, and he was still laying in agony as we walked past him. I said, you can keep that ball, mate. You might need it.
I've heard it all now.
Heard it all?
The drivers affected by the Volkswagen scandal are now wanting compensation.
That's right, yeah. 9 out of 10 said they bought those particular cars because of environmental concerns.
Oh, did they now?
They did,
right.
according to this survey.
That's right. So, but how have they possibly... They didn't even know that there was a problem with the car till this all came out. How in any way can they claim that their lives have been affected by this in any... Volkswagen are going to take the cars back and they're going to put them right. This had no effect on their life whatsoever. Compensation?
Yeah, environmental impact is what they're saying this
It's not made their environment any different that they've noticed. Honest to goodness. This culture of entitlement. These are the kind of people that when they bury them, when they die, they should only be buried a few inches below the surface so they can still keep a hand out.
Bob's Breakfast.
Right now, you join me in the middle of an international radio emergency. Martin has been flown in from Germany, especially for this programme. He's an intern on the show for 6 months, media student. Usually I pick him up. We've got him staying with Joe the cleaner. Bob FM cleaner, lives in Nebworth in the village. And usually I pick him up on the way through. 5 o'clock this morning. He wasn't standing there outside the house. I swung round, I shone the headlights into the house. I didn't want to do too much. I didn't want to wake the whole household up at 5 o'clock. I texted him, I got nothing. So now, oh, hello. Oh, my mobile is ringing, so I'm going to answer it. Hopefully I'll put it on speaker.
Good morning, Graham. I'm so sorry. Completely, I didn't hear my alarm.
You didn't hear your alarm?
No, I'm so sorry, really.
Well, you're live on the radio right now. I should let you know that. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, what is good? I'm glad you're safe, because we were worried about you. Chris was a little bit worried that you'd be a news story this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, but you're okay. You just slept in, that's all.
Yeah.
Well,
that's nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. Okay. Will you be able to get a lift in with Joe?
I hope so. Tonight I have to walk, but I'll definitely be there.
Okay, it's a long walk. I would wait till Joe comes in. There's no point coming.
Yeah, it's probably better.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Martin. Thank you very much. Glad you're safe.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Ta-da. Well, I'm glad he's... So it looks like we have a happy ending to that story. I hope we also have a happy ending to the other story this morning, which is that Sammy, who works in the office, she got this note pushed through her door that says, I wonder if you fancied a drink sometime. I'm a neighbour. If you have a boyfriend or a husband, I apologise, Danny. And it's just a hastily scribbled note on a bit of paper that's been ripped from a spiral-bound notepad. I'll give Sammy a call next. See if she can give me some background on this situation. Why was Prince William making a direct television appeal to the people of China? It's got to be one of the most bizarre aspects of the state visit to Britain of the Chinese president. Prince William was invited to speak on Chinese telly about the issue of wildlife conservation. He's an odd choice as a spokesman for conservation. Do the Chinese know how the British treat our native wildlife? Right now, Britain is in the middle of a continuing badger cull. And the prince himself represents a family that shoots pheasants and hunts foxes with dogs for fun. Now, the problem he's addressing is real and serious. The annual consumption of traditional remedies made of tiger bone, bear gallbladder, rhinoceros horn, dried geckos and all kinds of other animal parts is of phenomenal proportions. They reckon that today at least 60% of China's billion-plus inhabitants use this type of medicine. You see, it all comes down to that phrase, traditional remedies. I mean, the Chinese who use these medicines believe that these animal parts contain magical healing properties. Now, the people who came up with these cures at the time didn't have the benefit of modern scientific discovery. These people thought the world was flat and didn't know where the sun went at night. Tradition is not science. Tradition is just a crazy belief, a belief that hasn't been questioned for hundreds of years. Now, the prince, when he was on TV in China, would have been asking up to 100 million television viewers to question and even go against their traditions, which is a great idea. But the fact that it was him and not a member of the scientific community that's speaking to them means that he was expecting them not to question one of our traditions, the British tradition of a hereditary monarchy. You see, we believe that a family of German descent are so superior to the rest of us that they were born to rule. We've elevated them to a position of the highest power in the land through no effort of their own. It's predetermined before they're born. There's no fixed term of office, and once they become the head of state, they remain in the role for the rest of their life. They're treated with the reverence of demigods. They live a life of extreme opulence at our expense. Our press fawn over them, and when it turns out that one of their babies does exactly the same thing that ordinary babies do, we're amazed, and it's front page news. Our traditions are just as crazy as theirs and just as harmful, especially if you happen to be a badger, a pheasant, or a fox. Are the Chinese going to take any notice of Prince William? I hope so, because his message is a really important one. But I think that message would be a lot more effective if it was delivered by a doctor. You see, a doctor could show the Chinese more effective ways to cure impotence and illness without killing a tiger, a bear, or a rhino and cutting its bits off.
This is Bob.
Hello.
Hey, Sammy, Graham, Mack, how are you? Live on Bob FM.
Morning, how are you?
Very good. Now, you were freaked out a little bit yesterday, I think it's fair to say.
Just a little, yeah.
So, how long had you been out the house when you came home and realised that this note had been left while you were out?
Well, actually, I hadn't stayed at my house overnight, so I'd come back in the morning to grab some stuff for work.
Yes.
And it wasn't there when I went into the house.
Right.
And obviously when I left to leave for work.
Yeah, so the timeline here is quite... The window of opportunity is quite big.
No, it was probably about an hour, actually.
You...
into the house to leaving, yeah.
Oh, you were only out the house for an hour?
Yes, yeah.
All right, now, have you any... I mean, it sounds quite respectful. When it says here, if you have a boyfriend or a husband, I apologise, that's quite respectful. That's kind of standoffish, which I think is the nice thing about the note.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's just a little bit weird that, you know, I've had it happen to me before where I've sort of seen somebody and I know that they've seen me and they've left me a note and said, hi, it's the guy in the Nissan GTR, and unbeknown to him it was Nissan GTR I was looking at and not him. But I think it's just a little bit weird that, you know, I don't know who he is. Like you said, it's, you know, so-and-so from number 10 or whatever.
But this doesn't say. This doesn't say. It just says Danny.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And you don't know a Danny in the street?
I don't know anybody on the street, if I'm honest.
All right. Well, I'm going to call the number in a bit and see if we can find out more about this. But you're not actually on the market at the moment, are you?
Unfortunately not,
no. No, okay.
So
yeah.
Sorry, Danny.
Yeah.
You are listening.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much, Sammy, and thanks for letting me see if I can get to the bottom of this.
That's no problem.
Because, you know, I might find him a date with someone else. There might be someone else listening that is available and is his cup of tea, you know? That responds to this kind of note. Then everybody wins.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation.
It is. All right, Sammy, thank you so much. See you later when you get to work. All right, cheers, bye-bye. It's Sammy who works in our office. She got home, she found this note. It says, I wondered if you fancied a drink sometime. I'm a neighbour. If you have a boyfriend or a husband, I apologise, Danny, and a phone number. But it wasn't a card, and it wasn't with flowers or a single rose. Mind you, that would have been creepy, I think. It's a hastily written note, and it's been ripped from a spiral-bound notepad. You can still see the shabby edge. All right, well, I'll see if I can track him down. Jenny's on the phone.
Good morning, Graham.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I've got to offer you a favour, if you wish.
Yes.
I'm on my way to Nedworth.
Right.
Would Martin like a lift?
I'm sure he would. I am sure. Yes. Actually, do you want me to call him and ask him?
Yeah, if you want.
All right, well, just hang on there. I'll call him on my mobile and put him on the speaker. And and that way, you can speak to him as well, kind of, if you know what I'm saying. So
No
it's
problem.
it's all a little bit to... Here we go. Can you hear that ring in there, Jenny?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Okay. Hello, Martin. It's Graham Mack again from Bob FM. You're live on the radio again. How are you?
Oh, that's good.
I got Jenny on the phone. She says she's got to swing by Nebworth. She can pick you up.
Who is on the...
Does that work for you?
I guess, I think so. Otherwise, I would just...
How far away from Nebworth are you at the moment, Jenny?
I'm at the Roebuck Inn right now.
So what? You're within like 10 minutes, would you reckon?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Would you be ready to leave in 10 minutes, Martin?
I'm ready to leave right now.
Ready to leave right now? Okay.
I mean, I can walk, that's really no problem.
Okay, well, where would you like Jenny to meet you?
I can
Well,
find
I
it.
can
I've
go
got
to the
that
station, probably. That might be easy.
What's that? You reckon... What was that, Martin? You reckon the railway station?
Yeah.
How far away do you reckon you are from the railway station?
From the railway station, probably 5 minutes.
Okay, how about that? That's the easiest way. In the car park of the railway station at Nebworth. Does that work for everybody?
That's no problem at all.
All right, Jenny, thank you so much.
No problem. I'll see you in a bit.
Well,
See you in a bit. And Martin, see you in a bit. Thank you.
What
All
a
right.
horrible start to the day.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a good news that someone like Jenny cares for your welfare and wants to hear you on the... Yes, it is brilliant. Yeah, all right.
I'm still very embarrassed and very shocked. I have to admit.
Well, yes, you know, you're representing an entire nation here. I would be too.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yes, all right. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Jenny, and we'll see both of you in a bit.
All right.
Okay, no problem, Graham.
Okay, bye.
Bob's Breakfast.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished, you may hang up or press 1 to change your message.
Hey, Danny, it's Graham Mack calling from Bob FM. I noticed you left a message for Sammy, who works here, the other day. Your note, I wonder if you fancied a drink sometime. I'm a neighbour. If you have a bee friend or husband, I apologise. Danny, I'd like to get to the bottom of this and see if I can, you know, sort out some kind of happy ending here. If you give me a call this morning on Bob FM, it'd be great. 01438 422 106. I'm disappointed with our lead story. I'm not shooting the messenger here, Chris. Yep. But there's this, it's a story of a report that says young people have never had it so bad.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
This is what they're saying.
First of all, I don't agree with that. I think there have been times in, say, even this country's history when young people have had it bad. You know, when they had to go up chimneys, you know, for instance.
Yeah, that was never good.
That was not a good time. There were not a lot of opportunities in Victorian England. What is the report saying?
They're saying people under 34, so that includes me as well.
Okay, right.
Have suffered the biggest slide in income and employment compared with older groups.
Right, okay. And what annoys me about these reports is they give people an excuse to give up. And that is an awful thing to happen. So let me just say this to anybody under the age of 34 listening right now, that it's what you make it. There will be obstacles and it won't be easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. You only feel good about yourself if you achieve something that's difficult to achieve. If you achieve something that's easy, you don't get the same thing from it. There's a series of books I read years ago, great books. They're called Chicken Soup for the Soul. There's a story in one of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books about a bloke who sees a chrysalis. And he watches it and he thinks, one day, a butterfly is going to come out of that chrysalis. And every day he checks it and he looks at it and then one day he sees a little hole appear in the chrysalis. And he sees the butterfly working its way out. And it's working its way out and it's breaking through the shell of the chrysalis and it's working its way out. And then, after a while of working, it stops. And it looks to the man like it's given up. It's not moving. Now, he's been kind of attached to this thing. He's been watching it for a while. So he takes his penknife and he cuts away a little bit more of the chrysalis and he lets it come out. But what comes out isn't a butterfly. It's a kind of a withered bug. Its wings are shriveled and it kind of hobbles around. It's really sad. Now, he didn't know that in nature, the way this works is, when a butterfly comes out of a chrysalis, it stops about halfway and it squeezes into a little gap. And that forces blood into the wings so it can become a butterfly. You see, what this man had done with his kindness had tried to help out and remove the struggle. But it's the very struggle that makes the thing what it is. And without the struggle, you can't reach your full potential. You'll never grow wings, and you'll never fly.
Bob's Breakfast.
Lost and found this morning. What's your story, Gary?
It goes back to 1972.
Right.
I was from Bourneville in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And it was a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I was outside my house and a greyhound ran past the house.
Right.
Now, in them days, I used to have greyhounds with my dad.
Uh-huh.
And I was only 12.
Yeah.
So I gave chase.
Right.
2 hours, I chased the dogs round the streets of Bourneville in Birmingham.
Yes.
Eventually caught the dog.
Yeah.
And took it home,
Uh-huh.
which my dad said, you better take it to the police station.
Right.
Took it to the police station. The sergeant there took my name and address, said just in case there's any reward.
Uh-huh.
3 weeks later, the front page of the Birmingham Mail, there was the sergeant on the front page with the greyhound that turned out to be a champion dog from London, jumped off the train at New Street, and there he stood claiming the reward, saying that he chased it around the streets of Birmingham.
You are joking! Talk about your bent copper!
The West Midlands Police wasn't very good in them days.
Jeez!
And he took the reward.
Jenny calls up, and Jenny, who is a van driver, says she can pick him up. I'm delighted to say that Jenny and Martin are standing in front of me now. Good morning, Jenny.
Good morning, Graham.
Just talk nice and loudly into there. So, what do you normally do? What's your normal routine in the morning?
Delivering tyres.
Who to?
Local garages.
You don't normally pick up Germans and deliver them to radio stations.
No.
So but we've got an expert though in pick-up and delivery, haven't we? So what did you think when I was talking earlier about our radio emergency then?
Like everything, you give somebody a hand.
Oh,
I didn't
wow!
think you'd accept because he thought I might be stalking him. Do you know?
Well, we've got a stalking tale going on as well this morning, but no, it's not stalking. It's nice. Martin, talk us through what happened this morning.
Yeah, it was an absolute nightmare.
Oh, why? What happened? What, you sleeping peacefully was an absolute nightmare. Okay,
it was an absolute nightmare.
Yes.
Looking back now, I mean, if I would have been kidnapped, it would have been an interesting story. But
I see.
Now it all sounds a bit dull.
So you're apologising for having a boring story of why you weren't there.
I apologise so much, but for scientific purposes,
yes.
I think another misconception has been proven wrong there.
What is it?
That Germans are always punctual.
Right.
Now we only have to work on the joke.
We've now shown that Germans can be just as tardy as English people. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here. I was
thank
worried.
you so much to Jenny. I mean.
Yeah, well, we've got a nice...
I was ready to walk.
We have a nice gift for Jenny. This is the official... Look, it's in the official wrapping. This is the official Bob FM mug. It's all yours. So whenever you have your tea break now or your coffee or whatever you have, you can think of us. So thank you very much, Jenny. Martin, it's great that you're here. And we've solved it. We solved another mystery.
2 words for you. Sugar tax are being bandied around again this morning.
A tax on sugar means that you will only have fat rich kids. That's what it means. Because people who don't have money worries, the same as people who do have money worries, won't mind paying 7 pence extra for a can of Coke or whichever drink it is that's the demon this week. Other demons are available. So
depending on which week you're in.
Exactly. And so the thing that these people seem to be missing is that this is anti-poor people. But it will end an anomaly that the Western world has, and that anomaly is that in the Western developed world, first world problems, we have fat poor people. In areas where there is true poverty, none of the poor people are fat. So this is a kind of a scary, sinister piece of social engineering to try and remove the anomaly of fat poor people. Beware. the sugar tax.
Is that Mr. Mack?
Yeah, who's that?
Hello, mate. I've just got a message on my phone from you.
Hey, Danny!
No, my name ain't even Danny. If you listen to my voicemail, my name's Chris.
Oh! Well, let me just check.
Got my number.
Let me check. Have I dialed? I could have dialed the wrong number. The number I'm supposed to dial is 07952 49.
Yeah, that's my number.
Hey, someone's used your number on a hastily scribbled note.
Huh. That's nice of them to do that.
You've been set up, mate.
Well, it sounds like it, yeah.
Doesn't it? Now,
Lovely.
do you live anywhere near Sammy, who works for Bob FM? She drives a Bob-branded car.
No, I don't. I live over in Kempston.
Well, you've been stitched up royally, mate. You need to get to the bottom of that. I'm sorry about that.
No, don't worry, mate, and apologise to Sammy. I hope she's not upset by someone sticking out through her door.
All right. Chris, thank you so much. At least we got to the bottom of it. She'll be glad. She was a bit freaked out, so she'll be glad it's just a prank.
Yeah, I can imagine she's a little bit freaked out as well, because I've got a missus, I'm married.
Bob's Breakfast with My Tool Shed. For the latest DeWalt cordless.
Why are BMW drivers so angry? A recent study of 2,837 drivers showed that they'd seen more aggression from BMWs than any other make of car. Land Rover, Audi, Subaru and Vauxhall made up the top 5. So looking at that list, the one thing that all of those cars have in common is that they're all boxy and boring. Cool cars like Porsche, Jaguar, Aston Martin did not make the list. Clearly, another study needs to be done to determine cause and effect. Are aggressive drivers attracted to ugly cars? Or does driving an ugly car make you an aggressive driver?
This is Bob.
Britain's A&Es are in crisis. That's what they're saying. Well, University College Hospital in London has just had to double the size of its A&E department. I'd like to know, what's your A&E story? Gary?
I came in one night at around about 12 o'clock after playing cricket on a Saturday. I went to bed, didn't think nothing of it. 2 o'clock in the morning, the phone's ringing.
Mm-hmm.
I pick it up, and there's a fella on the other end saying, "Hello, my name's Dr. whatever his name is, I can't remember now, from Harlow Hospital."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Is Veronica there?" That's my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So I went, "Yeah, she's asleep." So he said, "Well, could you tell her to get dressed and come back to A&E?" So I went upstairs, woke her up. I said, "There's a fella on the phone." I said, "Have you been to the hospital today?" So she goes, "Yeah, I went this afternoon with chest pains."
Uh-huh.
I said, "Well, why did you leave?" She goes, "Oh, well, they was taking so long, I thought, well, they forgot about me and I left."
Right.
So I went, "Well, he's on the phone now. Get dressed. I'm going to go down and see what it is." So I went down. I said to him, "Right, she has admitted she went to hospital." He goes, "Well, she's had a heart attack."
Wow.
I went, "Are you joking me?" So he said, "No." So we rushed off to the hospital.
Yeah.
We got back to the hospital, and basically he said, "The tests have come. You should have waited." And she was with her sister, and her sister was moaning it was taking so long.
Yes.
So I said, "Well, in that case," I said, "what's going to happen?" So the doctor said to me, he said, "Well, we're going to have to keep her in." So I said, "Oh well," and I said, "Can I have a word with you privately?"
Yeah.
So he said, "Yeah, right." So I said to him, I said, "Right," I said, "Let's be honest about this." I said, "What's happened?" He said, "Well, she's had a heart attack. We're going to keep her in for a couple of days." So I said to him, "Well, really, can we not make it a week?" To which the doctor said to me, "Well, I don't know if we can keep her in for a week. How about 5 days?" So
You
me and the doctor were bartering on how long to keep her in.
Now, is she okay?
In the end, we got away with 5 days. And me and the boys were having pizzas and Chinese every night.
Oh, my goodness.
Members of the royal family and politicians due to greet China's President Xi Jinping.
Still sucking up to the Chinese, eh? Don't mention human rights. Mention it once, think I got away with it.
Well, this is the thing. Every single time China's mentioned and there's a visit over there or they come over here,
yeah.
There's always pressure to mention human rights.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just swept aside.
They can't even get the internet properly over there. The Great Firewall of China. They can't get Twitter. They can't get Facebook. They're locked out of that. But we're just going to ignore that for now. Because they've got such a big population of consumers.
China's president is going to take part in a procession down the Mall to Buckingham Palace later as well. They're really going out for all of this ahead of a state banquet.
And he's staying at Buckingham Palace, which makes no sense. I'd feel more at home at my house.
You reckon?
Pretty much everything I own, made in China. What's your A&E story? I'd like to know. Phil's on the phone. What happened to you?
My jaw dislocated in the morning, and it took about 3 or 4 hours normally to get back in, but I had to go to Listo. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And I was explaining it to them in like a mumble state, but they couldn't understand me, so they gave me some liquid morphine.
Right, so you're well away, yeah.
Yeah, I'm well away now. I can't speak at all. And they then turn around and say they can't fix it. They've got to go to Luton A&E.
Yeah.
10 hours later, they managed to get my jaw back into place.
Yeah.
But I had to have my head like covered in like a human mummy, really.
What, bandages? Yeah.
Bandaged to the hill. Can't even move my lips. And then to top it all off, in the evening was a World War II theme party for my partner's nan, and I went as a Blitz victim, which was really great. Also, I couldn't speak, so I could have been a German Blitz victim.
Because you're making no sense to anyone.
I was just mumbling away in some sort of tones, and I want to drink, but they couldn't understand me.
So it all worked out perfect for the fancy dress.
Cracking,
yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Phil. Okay, you know pretty much everything there is to know about everything. That's why you bring us the news of what's happening around the world. Can you think of a time when a head of state from another country visited this country and was given a ride in a horse-drawn golden coach along a road that we'd closed specially for the purpose with our head of state?
I can't recall one.
I mean, royal weddings, jubilees, that's where, that's about what you want the pomp and circumstance and the fine military doing their thing. It's fabulous. It fills you. It's great. A military band, or like a parade and great. But you know, when like President Obama comes or a Frenchman shows up, they don't put him in the pantomime gold coach, six horses drawing it along the map. But they've done that for this Chinese president.
They have. They're pulling out all the stops.
All the stops. Big banquet last night.
Big lavish banquet.
Even Jeremy Corbyn was invited. He scrubbed up well. I would have been worried if he was, because he could have said anything, couldn't he? He's like, human rights. Did he say human rights? No, he said, "Do you want more rice?" My name is Graham, and I'm a caffeineaholic. This morning, talking about addiction, what demon are you trying to keep in check? What are you hooked on? Gary?
Gambling.
You're a gambling addict?
I've been a gambler since I was 16.
Yeah.
Lucky enough, I'm in a job where it doesn't affect me that much money-wise in the house. I earn a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And then once that money is paid into the bank, everything else is like, I call it fun money.
Right.
Which is not good because it's quite a lot of money some days.
So what are you betting on?
Right, okay. Unfortunately, every day in this country you can bet on football.
Yes.
All around the world.
Yeah.
So let's say the big four bookmakers, I won't mention the too many names, but the big four bookmakers give you coupons. Now when you go into bookmakers to put a bet on for your football, you're surrounded by horse racing, greyhound racing, the machines, and I don't go near the machines because I think they have actually probably killed people. Them machines are manslaughter machines.
What do you mean? What do you mean they've killed people?
Well, I've seen people put hundreds of pounds on one spin, and they've walked out of there suicidal.
Right.
I've seen people do £2,000 in an afternoon. You can put your debit card in, and it cleans your debit card completely out.
Yeah.
Now I won't go near them. Never have done. And I've seen it. And so all I do is I'll go in. But while I'm putting my football bet on, there's a horse racing going on. Like yesterday, for argument's sake, I put my football bet on for the Sunday. Now I was betting on Israeli football, Austrian football, and stuff like that. And then there's a horse race on, so I'll put a bet on the horse racing. So before you know it, your £20 has turned into £40, which has turned into £80, because you're trying to chase your money back if you're losing.
So how much a week would you gamble?
I would say I have it's been maybe, I would say easily £200-300.
Every week?
I would say so, yeah.
But you understand that you lose that money.
Oh, yeah.
This is the logic of gambling that I can't work. And is it just the thrill of thinking it might come in? Where's the buzz?
I don't know, because sometimes if something comes in, say if I won £500,
yeah,
then I would think, well, what's the point of, do I really want to win any more? I don't know where the buzz comes from. When I was younger, I don't think it was a buzz. I think it was because I was training greyhounds at the time. I was surrounded by gamblers, and we tried to win money.
In the game,
didn't work.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So now it's just a case of, do I need the money? I don't really know. At my age, I don't really think I actually need the money.
Gary, have you ever thought about getting help?
Oh no, it's not. It's never been a case of I've ever worried about it.
Right, so you just get on with it.
I just get on with it. Yeah, I mean tonight I'll be doing the Dutch football.
Right. Okay.
And the worst thing is,
yeah.
I have an app on my phone from one of the bookmakers. I can actually, if I wanted to, I can't put money into my debit account. I can only have a certain amount in there because I can transfer my money from my debit to my account and blow all my money.
Goodness me.
Oh, it's crazy. Absolutely madness.
So you understand it's madness, you understand it's costing you £200 a week, but you can't stop.
Exactly.
All right. Gary, thanks for sharing this morning.
You take care.
Thank you. I'm Graham Mack, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, make sure you share it on Facebook and Twitter, and you can subscribe at iTunes.
The Chinese president's tour of Britain continues after a major photo opportunity at a local pub last night over in Buckinghamshire.
Wasn't it
Have you seen
pathetic?
the pictures?
The only thing that would have topped it off while they were eating fish and chips and drinking pints of beer in a typical English pub in Buckinghamshire would be if a troop of Morris men had arrived and had entertained them in the bar.
They had a fish and chips supper. The Prime Minister said it was very good as well. Now,
Isn't that twice the Chinese fellas had fish and chips?
Is
He's
it?
probably sick of fish. You got anything else? Do people serve anything else but fish and chips?
Elsewhere today, though, they're heading up to Manchester.
Yeah, which is, honest to goodness. This Manchester, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and because Manchester keeps whining about everything being in London, the government are sucking up to Manchester. And so now, for the first time in almost 100 years, a major world leader has visited the city. Woodrow Wilson in 1918 was the last major world leader to visit Manchester, but not content with giving them the Commonwealth Games all those years ago, not content with building them that bleak shopping precinct and renaming it Media City, full of crime and sending loads of jobs from London up there. Not content with that, not content with gouging us with all our tax money to build a railway line so you can get to Manchester 20 minutes earlier, and destroying houses and ripping through the countryside. And hey, if you think the HS2 is expensive now, wait till you have to buy a ticket. Actually, Martin, you did some research. The price of a train ticket this morning, if you wanted to go to Manchester from London, from Euston, what would the price be?
£164.
£164. Wait till they get HS2, because it won't be cheaper. It'll be more expensive. They just keep sucking up to Manchester because Manchester keeps whining that Manchester isn't London.
The Northern Powerhouse.
It's the Northern Powerhouse. The Northern Powerhouse. Yeah, it was a Northern Powerhouse in the Industrial Revolution. Not now. Not since Stephenson's rocket was retired. Not since the mills closed.
Well, they're heading up there today. They're expected to make some announcements about Manchester Airport linking up with China as well, doing direct flights.
Yeah, is that how he's getting home?
Maybe.
Ask the question. I bet he's not. I bet he's not flying out of Ringway. I bet he's flying out of either Heathrow or RAF somewhere.
Yeah. The RAF.
There's no way he's gone up to Manchester to catch a flight. No way.
So they're up there in the north today, obviously having a tour of the
More
area.
fish and chips.
Yeah.
Not the case.
Is that not right?
I know lots of people in Manchester, and when they go out, traditionally, you know what they have?
What's that?
Chinese.
Bob's Breakfast.
A special guest this morning. A Hertfordshire police officer has won a prestigious Police Bravery Award after chasing down a pair of armed gunmen. He's on the phone now. Good morning to PC Christopher Cowenberg. How are you?
Good morning, Graham. I'm very well, thank you.
Now, be honest with me. Were you more nervous chasing down armed gunmen or talking on Bob FM?
Yeah, I think the latter, sir.
Unbelievable! Unbelievable. All right, tell us what happened then.
Okay, it was back in November of 2013, and at the time I was on the AMPR Intercept team. And myself and my colleague Ben Ambrose, we were out on patrol, looking for anything that looked a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit dodgy, and came across a car. It didn't look right.
Mm.
We did some checks on it. I think it had a very minor road traffic offence, MOT expired. So we tried to pull that over on the M1. Ended up in a pursuit, a vehicle pursuit, where we chased the car into Edgware, smashing through a few other vehicles. Rather, their vehicle smashed through a couple other vehicles en route. Eventually, they stopped in a road in Edgware. Passenger ran off and driver ran off in another direction. I ended up going after the passenger, whilst Ben went after the driver. And when I was chasing him on foot, turned out he was armed. He started firing at myself. So that was a bit hairy.
So at that stage, isn't the chase over? When the guy starts firing at you, hasn't he got away then?
Well, he did ultimately get away that day. I did probably carry on for a bit longer than I should have done.
Yeah.
But he was caught after a very, very lengthy and very high quality investigation by our major crime team. But when we came back to the vehicles, we obviously had no intelligence, no information as to why the vehicle was not stopping, why they were running away and whatnot. And it was only when we came back to their car, we found some poor bloke trussed up in the back who told us he'd been kidnapped at gunpoint.
Goodness me. And did you get shot?
I didn't know, thankfully. No, he was not a very good shot. He quite close range, but he missed, thankfully.
But you're still running after him while he's shooting?
I did for a short period of time, but I had to be quite mindful because there were other members of the public there. I managed to move a couple of them behind a wall.
Yeah.
But as the foot pursuit continued, there were just more and more people around, and it just wasn't safe at all.
Right. And what about your other? What does your other half think of you doing this?
She's loving it, to be honest with you. She obviously enjoyed last night immensely, but I think she's quite glad now that I'm out of uniform now, and I've hung up my boots and I'm doing the detective side now. Right.
Okay. So it's all worked out well. Well, let's talk about yesterday because there was a visit to Downing Street involved.
There was, yeah. It was absolutely mind blowing. A reception at number 10. Got to go inside.
Yeah.
Incredibly, yeah. It's so different from the inside than you'd expect when you see it on the TV on the outside. Got to meet Mr. Cameron and Mrs. May, so that was quite an experience.
And what were they like?
Very personable, actually. It was quite easy to talk to.
That is fabulous, isn't it? I mean, I know you guys don't do it for that kind of glory, but that's still pretty cool.
It was very, very cool, as you say. It was really good. I mean, what I would say is, for me, it's really great to be a part of this whole thing. But as far as I'm concerned, I went to work that day. I did my job that day, and I did the same job that my colleagues in Hertfordshire are doing day in, day out, and my colleagues across the country are doing day in, day out. So, it's brilliant to be recognised in this way. It's something that police officers are doing all the time.
And last night at the Dorchester, which is nice digs, yeah.
Yeah, that was very plush.
Yeah,
fantastic experience again.
And you got the regional bravery award.
I did, yeah. That was quite a shock, to be honest with you.
Was
especially
it?
Especially looking at some of the other nominees there, I was very surprised. But
you chased a guy that was shooting at you. What do they have to do to beat that?
Oh, there were some incredible stories there, to be honest with you, and that was another really enjoyable part of the evening, getting to hear a bit more about what my colleagues across the country are doing, and some of the incidents and the jobs that they're involved in.
Oh, it's just terrific. I love it that when bad guys see you now, they're going to wet their pants. they're going to go, this is the detective that chased a guy that was shooting at him, you know. So it's just brilliant. Hey, well, congratulations on the well-deserved award. And thank you very much, PC Christopher Cowenberg. Well
Lovely.
done.
Thanks so much, Graham.
Regional
Cheers.
Bravery Award, a genuine, real-life hero.
Bob's Breakfast.